All right. Hey, welcome to History Chats. We're back to our first live stream in a while. But thanks for joining us. We have back to doing some history. Today we are we're not necessarily doing monthly themes in the way that we did before. We'll see if we settle back into something, but maybe a little one-off trip up the Eau Claire River today. And learn a little bit about it and its history. So I think everything looks okay. So I'm gonna turn it over to Gary, and he'll take it from here.
Thank you, Ben. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, as Ben said, talk a little bit about the Eau Claire River today. I'm not going to give you the whole history, the geologic history of.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Well, thank you, Ben. As Ben said, we're talking about the history of the Eau Claire today. I'm not going to give you the whole geologic history of the Eau Claire River and everything that surrounds it, but we'll talk a little bit about more recent history. The Eau Claire River, along with the Wisconsin and the Eau Plaine and the Big and Little Ribs, are important rivers in Marathon County's history, and each one really has a unique story to tell. Of course, we know the Wisconsin River pretty well. That flows through the city of Wausau, and a lot of history associated with that. And the other rivers, the Eau Plaine, the Rib rivers, a lot of history with that. And with the Eau Claire, this is a unique story unto itself. The Eau Claire River, I think, is pretty unique. It has a couple different, maybe 3 or 4 different stories that we'll talk about today. So here we go. So here we are, Marathon County, just so that if you're not familiar with the Eau Claire, the general gist of the Eau Claire, it starts way up in the town of Harrison in the northeast side of Marathon County, and then it flows through Easton, good part of Easton, comes down into Weston and takes a variety of routes, and eventually flowing into Schofield, and into the Wisconsin River at that point. So it has a long journey. This river has a long history and a long journey of those waters of the Eau Claire River. What we're going to mostly talk about is this little part of the Eau Claire as it comes into Schofield. We'll talk a little bit about this history first of all, but it has a winding way through a good part of our history, and as you can see, it's pretty much east and west along this part as it comes into Schofield. A little closer look at Schofield. You can see, and we'll talk about the other parts of the Eau Claire in a few minutes. But right now we're going to concentrate on the Eau Claire as it comes into that Schofield part. You can notice on the left side, the Mill Pond, a big part of this part of the Eau Claire really was influential in the early logging days and the early milling days of Marathon County. It was really a working river. This is a point a little bit to the east of Schofield along Kelly, but again, showing you that it was quite a working river, as we see in the Wisconsin River logs coming down the Eau Claire, Kelly being one of the major mill sites, but a very strongly working river is the Eau Claire. So let's take a look at Schofield. Well, let me back up a little bit. Little technical difficulties here. We'll settle this out in a minute. Well, we'll start here. This is Well, the mill, this is where my laptop's a little slow this afternoon. So this is the Eau Claire River as it comes into Schofield. This was in the Brooks and Ross days, which we'll talk about a little bit. But you can see the Grand Avenue coming down the bridge. You can see the dam there, and all these little references will be shown a little bit later. This is the Eau Claire as it approaches the bridge in Schofield. This is looking northwest. This is on the south side of the Eau Claire, looking towards Schofield in the early days of Schofield. But again, even at this point in time, it was quite a working river. Today, what we see, just a little reference to the current time. This is the dam. This is looking south, the dam on the Eau Claire, and that is a good reference because we'll see that that dam part of the mills throughout our early history. Our early history really in Schofield starts with Mary and William Schofield, who came here in the 1840s, decided to build indeed that early sawmill, starting to deal with the white pine in Schofield. And they had their mill on the south side of the Eau Claire. This is an early picture. You can see the dam again on your right. This is their mill on the north side of the Eau Claire, and here comes the Eau Claire in front of you. Much later, of course, the Brooks and Ross mill, the sawmill came into Schofield. This would have been on the south side of the Eau Claire. So here comes the Eau Claire, and we see that same dam building up into the mill pond to feed the water into the sawmill. And just a couple different frames of reference and how that changed the dam here and how it was looking for many years. But the Brooks and Ross was really a long time player here in Schofield along the Eau Claire. This is looking north, an aerial view. You can see that same dam on the. I stand corrected. On your lower right. But before, so that was just a little bit of a brief of the sawmill in Schofield. But before we leave Schofield, I just want to point out that with regard to the other parts of the Eau Claire, the recreational parts of the Eau Claire, we can see the Eau Claire Villa boat livery. Here along Grand Avenue, you can take a look up on your right side. You can see the trolley coming down from Wausau along Grand Avenue. So at this point in time, the Eau Claire flowage, the mill pond was quite close to Grand Avenue, but there was recreational use of the Eau Claire pretty much around the beginnings of parts of the 1900s. But also I mean to talk a little bit about the two other major sawmills along the Eau Claire, and those were the Kelly Mills and the Callan Mills. Notice that both of these had their mill pond. They had a dam that would slow the Eau Claire and build their mill pond, and these were two very prosperous sawmills and prosperous communities really for many years along the Eau Claire. And the history of our Eau Claire River certainly cannot forget the Kelly and the Callan mills along the Eau Claire. But the Eau Claire was also, like I said before, a good recreational part. So here we start to see already recreating along the Eau Claire. And today I think through kayaking, through just enjoyment of the river itself, we see the constant enjoyment of this river as it comes through Marathon County. So up the Eau Claire River, we come to the Dells of the Eau Claire. This a little bit of the blue line indicating the Eau Claire as it comes through the town of Plover into Marathon County Park on Highway Y in the town of Plover to the east of Wausau. Again, we can see as it comes into, and one name that's sort of important on this map is the name of Vogel, because he had a recreational spot, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But we cannot, when we talk about the Eau Claire Dells, we have to talk about the Palisades, these great rock structures. And like I said before, I don't mean to give you a geological, but through a variety of different earth eruptions, glaciers, and the great waters that the glaciers called to coming through this, Marathon County is truly blessed with some of these rock structures that we happen to have on the Dells of the Eau Claire. And of course, even in this part of Marathon County, it was heavily used as a logging river. This is an early picture. You can maybe recognize the bridge on what came to be Highway Y. Still, they were floating logs down this river, even through the great stone palisades of the Dells. A part of the history of the Eau Claire Dells is the work that the Civilian Conservation Corps did during the Great Depression and the New Deal. Part of that was the construction of this footbridge. Of course, it's a modern bridge today, but the Civilian Conservation came in the 1930s and started to work in the Eau Claire Dells and building this pedestrian bridge over the Eau Claire. So the trail, which led to the great development of the trails along the park, so that people can really come to see the great advantage of the Eau Claire River itself, all pretty much the center of the Eau Claire River as the center of the park itself. And again, I'm not sure when this was taken. This was taken definitely before 1927. But again, the people already coming in from Anigo, maybe Anawa, Wausau, making the journey up to the Eau Claire Dells to witness the great granite, the great rock structures that are part of the Dells. And they continue very much so. These rock structures are still provide a lot of recreation for a lot of people, a lot of young people coming into this park and taking in the Eau Claire River as it comes through this part of Marathon County. As part this bridge that we made note of before, this is an older bridge, and I think the story of this bridge coming over Highway Y is kind of intriguing because this was a bridge built in the 1920s, and you can see the work already starting on the bridge. This bridge was to come down. It was starting to have its issues, and the highway department felt that it should be really replaced. Well, as an historic bridge coming over the Eau Claire River, it was kind of important that we take a look at it and see what we can do. So This is the old bridge. It came down and had to be replaced. And it was replaced with this bridge. Well, this is the new bridge, quite similar. And I think the Marathon County Highway Department, as well as interested people, felt that this was a great compromise in basically showing the effect of keeping that same historic look to this bridge as the transportation over the Eau Claire River on Highway Y in the Eau Claire Dells. But a part of the Eau Claire Dells to the east of Highway Y is the Vogel's Amusement Park, a great place. Now it's pretty much a beach that the Vogel's is no longer there, but it was a great entertainment place on the Eau Claire River. People came like they did at that time from Anigo, Anawa, Wassa to be a part of this entertainment and bathing at Vogel's Amusement Park along the Eau Claire River. Another view of the beach there and the people taking advantage of the beach at the Eau Claire Villa. Another historic part that I think is part of the Eau Claire River is the Yellow Banks Park along the Wisconsin River. This is a park developed by the town of Weston. It's there. Where are we? Well, right now we're on Northwestern Avenue, and the road on your left would be Highway X or Camp Phillips Road or 41st Street. This is where the Yellow Banks Park is today as the Eau Claire River comes through it. But the history of that goes back a longer time than we see today, because it was at one time sort of a place for people to gather coming out from Wausau. It was the old swimming hole. Young people coming to this part of the Yellow Banks as a little beach was there. That beach was not there when I looked the other day, but it was really quite a popular place for young people to come and enjoy the cool Eau Claire River at this point in the town of Weston. Again, enjoying that Eau Claire River part of the Yellow Banks. Another newer part of the Eau Claire River is what we call the Eau Claire River Conservancy, which is a part of the city of Wausau that is dedicated to walking trails at this point in time. It's off of Kent Street. The Marathon County Sports Complex is to the north, and there's walking trails. There's a little foot travel only. There's walking trails that get you close to the backwaters, really, of the Eau Claire River as it eventually would come into Schofield. So people today continue to use the Eau Claire River. This is some fishermen on the flowage by Schofield, continuing to use the Eau Claire River as a place of enjoyment, whatever forms that you would like to have. This is the current dam on the Eau Claire in Schofield, looking south. And of course, the Eau Claire River gives a lot of great development. This is a new development on that same flowage to the east of the dam in Schofield. So that's just a little bit of a brief summary, quick summary of the Eau Claire River, a little bit of history, some of the points to it, but it has a strong history and it continues to develop that strong history as it flows through Marathon County. So with that, I'll turn it back to Ben.
Okay, yeah. There you go. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, as Gary said, it's one of maybe not the most prominent river since the Wisconsin kind of gets the big credit of flowing through the area, but certainly an important one to talk about and some interesting stuff. Um, so I guess I can let you know since this is live. I know what we're doing next month or next week. Next week I'm going to be doing another live program here, and we're going to do something a little different, spotlighting the story of the Philosopher Press, which was active here in Wausau in the 1890s into the well, actually for quite a while, way into the 20th century, but certainly was this really interesting period that you wouldn't expect. So bring out some of the original books that we have and show you some of the old ways you'd hand make books back in the 1890s. And this interesting stories surrounding this. So that's what's next week. That'll be, again, Thursday at 12:30 as always. Yeah, hope you join us for that. More programs coming in the future. And again, I guess this is the first time back live. Here's not a pre-recorded thing, but just say again, appreciate everybody sticking with us for the last month as we took some time off and did some reruns. It was nice not to have to scramble to put something together. Not that it's ever a problem or whatever. We just enjoyed doing it, but it was nice to take a little breath. And actually, Gary and I both took some time off and traveled, and it was nice not to have to worry about getting back for Thursday. So hope you all have been having a wonderful summer, relaxing and all of that. And we're back with more history, and yeah, we'll keep doing it. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you're still watching up to this point, appreciate you a lot. We'll be back next week with some more history. Until then, have a good week.